Today's broadcast is produced entirely by the students at Southeast High School in partnership with Kaiser University.
Hello and welcome to The Right Direction. Our program highlights what's happening in and around Southeast High School. I'm Jackson.
And I'm Robert. Everything you see on The Right Direction is produced entirely by the students of the Career Television Production Program of Southeast High School, also known as SCTV.
With us today are two groups of Southeast High School students that show us how Seminole pride is displayed on the court. First, we're joined by members of Southeast boys basketball team.
Then we'll be joined by members of our girls basketball team and Coach Harder, who is coaching his last season before retirement. They'll talk about how their abilities to bond on the court help them not only as athletes, but as people.
We'll have all that and so much more coming right up.
And remember that when you set your compass to Southeast, you're headed in
the right direction. Sports are all fun and games until those bright lights come on. The boys joining me today live for those bright lights, as well as putting on a show for the Southeast faithful. With me today are three kids from the boys basketball program who are here to talk about this year's season. First, we have Jalen, the varsity team's backup small forward. He's a sophomore, and while this is only his first year on varsity, he spent the last year on JV. He expects to be a starter next year or even as early as next game. Next, we have Aiden, the varsity team's backup center. He's a senior, and this is his first time playing on the team. He also is a part of Southeast IB program and is looking to attend colleges such as FSU once he graduates. And finally, we have Jaden, the JV team's starting shooting guard. He's a sophomore and has been a part of the JV team for both years, but is looking to either move up to varsity this year or next year. Hello and welcome to The Right Direction, guys.
Thank you.
What's up? Thanks.
So, first things first, how about we, meet the team? I know you guys are both on varsity and you're on JV, so tell me some of the starters, some of the key guys on this season.
You got Malik, the point guard, Octavius, Kari, Johnny, some of the guys on starters.
Okay.
On JV, we have Malik Banks, our point guard. We got Kyle Evans, our power forward. Fernando, our center. Who else?
So, what is your guys' relationship with these guys? I mean, I know with sports there can be a lot of camaraderie and stuff like that. So, tell me how the locker room is and how your guys' relationship are.
For varsity, our relationship is really close. We see each other almost every day in school. Dap each other up, say what's up to each other.
Right.
Some of us we have in class, so try to focus and get our work done, then get through the day.
Speaking of work, how is you guys' studying come through? Is there anything that the coaches set up for you guys to do after school, before practice or anything like that?
I know for us, JV, we had, I think it was first day of actual practice, we had an assignment for plays that we had to run.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a homework assignment on help side defense.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's what kind of got us rolling.
Okay, so interesting you mentioned plays because my next question is for Aiden. Being your first year on the team and kind of getting acclimated to an organized sport, I know you've played casually a bunch of times, but this is your first time on an actual team. So how's it like learning plays and trying to remember them in game and make sure you're on top of it?
I mean, the playbook's always something the players should have in the back of their minds. Learning the plays, especially coming onto the team this year, was not difficult, but tedious. You had to learn them, you had to study them, make sure you understand them, put them in the back of your mind. For when it is game time, you always have them. When coach yells at a play, you know what you're doing. Or a point guard yells at the plays, you do know what you're doing. You can run them efficiently.
I'm sure you don't want to get yelled at by coach. That's also another factor.
Never.
Jalen, this is a question for you. How do you, what's the biggest difference between varsity and JV?
There's definitely a skill gap. It's obviously more fans in the stands, so you might be a little nervous. So just handling the pressure and making the right decisions.
Yeah, I was at the game on a Friday, and that place was actually going crazy. I mean, it was a rivalry game with Bayshore, but it was jumping, that's for sure. So, question for anybody. Anyone can jump in. What's your guys' goals for this year, either personal or as a team?
For varsity, it's definitely trying to win districts. You know, just like you said, be our district rival Bayshore. So just trying to win through the district and go to playoffs.
Okay. Keep that momentum rolling.
For me, I feel like it's a development season for me to get better, so what I can do next year or this year.
Okay. And I know you guys just got your picked up your first win of the season. How'd that feel, and how does that set you guys up for the rest of the year?
It felt good. It got the ball rolling. Lost the first 2 games. We haven't been a team very long.
Mhm.
Next couple games, we're looking to win.
Okay. So, again, question for anyone. Anyone can answer. How are you guys' like relationship with the coaches? Like, is it kind of like a love-hate relationship, or is it kind of like he's just like there's a mentor for you guys?
Well, me being my first year on the team, kind of meeting coach for the first time, very intimidating dude, pretty tall, pretty big. You know, he's always there for you. He's got your back. You tell him what's up. Say, hey, I might be late to practice. He'd say, all right, come when you can. But then when it's game time, very strict. You got to listen to him. Got to run the playbook. Got to know him. He knows you very well personally, especially being on the team. He knows what you're doing, all the programs you're in. I'm in the IB program, so there's a lot on my end of the bargain. But got to learn him. He's a good guy. He can coach basketball pretty well.
Okay. And how about the JV coach?
The JV coaching staff, we got a really young coaching staff. We're like so close in age. Off the court, we're all close, cool, laugh. On the court, it's straight business.
Right.
So that's all we handle.
And I know it's definitely an adjustment because Coach Gilmer was there last year, and now he's moved over to Bayshore, kind of moving back to that rivalry. So
Gotta get that win.
yeah, exactly. So another thing would be, I know we talked about like practices and whatnot, but maybe can you guys give me a little insight on the workouts like before the season starts that not a lot of people know about?
Gotta work. It's not easy. You gotta put that work in.
It is a lot of running, you know, especially for us playing basketball and we're out there on the bleachers before the season starts. It definitely helps in the long run, though.
Just making sure you're conditioned and all that.
Yeah.
In terms of exercising stuff, 3 weeks prior before the season started, he did take the boys out there to kind of get conditioned up and ready, and then the trial process was a week long, and that was just straight skill, straight how much work we put on you till you quit, running, push-ups, drills, all that stuff. It's all in the package.
Yeah, for sure. I bet it's really intense. So another question, what are some of the requirements to make the team? I know summer workouts or just workouts in general before the season starts are sometimes optional, but what are some of the requirements? Like, do you guys have to meet a certain goal with like weightlifting or running a mile or anything like that?
Speaking of the bleachers, we did have to run a mile, and it's not necessarily a certain time. He just wants you to try your hardest because you are getting in shape. And
Right.
obviously, you have to have a 2.0 GPA to
As well.
even be eligible to play. So
Kind of living back to that as well.
You also need some skill, but it's really just effort.
Mhm.
Just gotta give it all. Gotta show them you care.
Yeah, for sure. I noticed when I was out there on Friday, there was a lot of guys making hustle plays, and I think that's something that we pride ourselves on a lot.
That's what we gotta live up
So-
to.
Exactly. So, one last question to anyone. I know we talked about goals and whatnot, but is there anything that you guys want to do, like with basketball, like outside of Southeast or maybe in the coming years?
do not know. You know, obviously, I want to make it to the pros and play in college, but it takes a lot of hard work and dedication. So
Just keep working hard. Try to get noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Keep grinding. That's all.
And so, Aiden, I know you're going to college next year, so are you going to keep basketball alive in that, or?
With me, let's see, I'm going to work on my academics first, get into college, see where basketball, if I play rec league, something like that, that'd be fun, but see where basketball takes me. End of the year, I get good, maybe, but hey.
So, final question, you guys. If there's anyone watching out at home that maybe wants to join now, seeing this, or wants to see if they could try out next year, how would they go about doing that?
Gotta be prepared to work.
Prepare the word?
Incoming freshman, it's not gonna be easy. Big transition from middle school to high school. Just gotta be ready.
Now, who can they contact for that as well?
they can definitely contact the AD. He definitely has all the schedules for that. So get through him.
All right, sweet. Well, thank you guys all for coming out today. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure to sit down with you all and talk some hoops.
Thank you.
Sweet.
Thank you.
The buzzer has sounded on this segment, but the show must go on. There will be much more coming up right up after this very important public service announcement.
I'm just saying, how bad can I be? I'm just doing what comes naturally. How bad can I be? I'm just following my destiny. How bad can I be? I'm just doing what comes naturally. How bad can I be? How bad can I possibly be?
You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead.
How bad can I be? I'm just doing what comes naturally. How bad can I be? I'm just following my destiny. How bad can I be? I'm just doing what comes naturally. How bad can I be? How bad can I possibly
Got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough.
We know that what we do at SCTV may seem like a lot. Between these shows, classroom instruction, and our live broadcasts, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that you don't get to see. So we want to give you the opportunity to see how we do what we do. Jaslyn Stewart took our cameras out to show you more about SCTV.
Do you ever turn on the TV and think to yourself, wow, it would be so cool to be on camera? Well, we'll be looking at a club where the members get the experience of being both in front and behind the scenes of real-life television productions. We have the inside scoop on a club that could be perfect for you. I'm standing in front of Southeast High School Television Production Building, also known as SCTV. Behind me is where the members of SCTV learn valuable lessons that can be used even after high school. Now let's take a look at what goes on behind these studio walls. SCTV has one of the best high school television programs in the country. It was founded in 1985 and has been thriving ever since. The club has won 13 state and 7 national championships in broadcast news for Skills USA. They also provide content for Manatee Schools Television. One of their biggest segments is The Right Direction. In this, they interview clubs around campus to expose students to new things. Jackson is the vice president of SCTV. He has been in the club since his freshman year and is now one of the many role models. He is going to give us a more in-depth explanation of what The Right Direction is.
The Right Direction is something that SCTV does for the county. Basically, it takes 2 talents, 2 kids that are selected by the club, go out and they interview some of the clubs around Southeast, like Key Club, like TSA, and we bring 3 of their high-ranking officers onto the show. We pretty much interview them about what they do around Southeast, how kids can join, et cetera, and it just basically puts a spotlight on some of the clubs around Southeast, so like if parents are watching, they'll know if their kid is coming in from 8th grade to 9th grade, know what clubs to kind of get their child interested in, and kind of zeroes in on what they do and how they do it. So that's kind of what they do around here.
SCTV helps students gather real-world experiences, including communication and cooperation. These skills are used throughout the club's activities, including the live broadcasted sports events, also known as TriCasters. Brianna is the current president of SCTV. She explains what exactly goes on behind the scenes of the live broadcasted events.
Well, TriCasters are basically just like what we film. Like the system we use is called like the TriCaster. So we just call the entire thing the TriCaster. We kind of just go out like as a collective unit and set up. Everyone has like their own specific position, like the camera operators and everything. And they kind of take like the first year members, the interns we call them, and they each kind of take like a couple of them under their wings and they show them how to set up and everything. For like the table, like there's the audio and like replay and everything. And I kind of do like the back of the table and make sure like all of the systems are like talking to each other.
Something that makes this club stand out is the unique family environment that is created. Each year new members are welcomed into the club and they feel right at home.
Well, when I first started TV, I was really scared to talk to people because I didn't really have any friends in the club. And even if there was a few people who were freshmen, when I was a freshman, I just was too afraid to talk to them. I didn't really know what I was doing. However, once around like halfway through my freshman year, I got all my friends to join, and that's what just made it better. The club was already great to begin with, but once I have friends and people that I can actually connect with, it just really ties the whole family atmosphere together. And even when I was a freshman with no friends, all the upperclassmen really helped me like come together and teach me new things. I was able to make friends through that. And now that I really do have all my friends and still some of the upperclassmen in there, it just really brings together the whole family atmosphere. And I still enjoy setting up cameras, doing stuff like that, but just having friends there makes it so much better.
As you can see, this is more than just a club. It's hard work, it's commitment, but it's also an amazing experience that prepares you for the future. Between Right Directions and TriCasters, the busy members are always on the go. So the next time you turn on the TV, you may see a member of SCTV in their natural habitat. I'm Jaslyn for Southeast High School and SCTV.
Public libraries are the lifeblood of our community, but they don't often get enough recognition. Alex O'Donovan took our cameras to a library right here in Manatee County to show you all that they have to offer.
Finding a quiet place to become invested in a story or a place to study can be difficult sometimes. To get away from all of the noise of society, a library is always there with open arms. Coming up, we will look at how different libraries impact the community.
I'm here at the Southeast High School Media Center to take a closer look at all of the opportunities given to students on campus. School libraries give students the opportunity to find new books and genres they may find interest in, and provide students technology that they may not have at home.
Along with being a great place to settle down and work on additional homework or read a book, the Southeast High School Media Center offers many research guides for learning outside of the classroom. Miss Audrey Dombrowski is the only librarian at Southeast High School and keeps the library looking presentable and running smoothly. She explains what exactly a school library can do for students.
Okay, in a school library, you have the ability to do research. You have the ability to work, just to do normal schoolwork that you might have to do. We also have books available for you to check out from a school library. It's a place to also socialize with friends. I'm open at lunchtime. They can come here and work or quietly socialize. We have 2 different computer labs that each have 40 computers in them. And then outside in the main media center, we have 2 groups of 10 computers that are all connected to the printer. There's many different things to do here.
Here in Manatee County, there are many different regional library branches. One such branch is the Bradenheffer Library, which I stand in front of today. Libraries are funded by the county, so this often leads to underfunding in libraries needing help. One way libraries are able to stay open is by getting help from volunteers.
Olivia Tucker is one of the volunteer coordinators at the Bradenheffer Library. She gives teenagers the opportunity to help local libraries. She speaks about the importance of volunteers and what they do around the library.
There's a lot of cyclical stuff that our volunteers do that we're super dependent on. So we have 2 book drops, one that's the outside book drop and then one that's at the front of the building. Volunteers help us collect the books from those book drops, check them for any loose items, damages, and sometimes they help shelve. Some people, they're okay with numbers. So we're really happy because then they're great at shelving nonfiction. There's a lot of negative press about public libraries. People think we are just a location for books and who reads books anymore. Sometimes libraries will get hit with budget cuts. And so we'll have less and less staff members, or maybe we'll have less and less resources. So volunteers are helping us overall, this is nationwide, stay afloat.
I'm in front of the Downtown Central Library, which is the biggest library in Manatee County. School libraries are only available for students, but public libraries are open to the community, from infants to elders to use for activities such as reading, researching, and just hanging out.
Well, here at the public library, we have, for instance, this space we're sitting in is a makerspace. In our makerspace, everything from 3D printing to a laser engraver and stuff, so you can design things, to sewing machines. We have study rooms too, and things like that. And also we have a much greater number of materials. We would have probably something like 200,000 books, for instance. For adults, we have a much wider variety of that than you would have at any of the school libraries around Manatee County. That we have computers for people to get on. We have microfilm machines and things like that to access like old newspaper archives and things. We're open more hours than the school library and on weekends, on Saturday, so if you can't make it into the school on that day.
As you can tell, libraries are a big part of the local community and schools, even though you may not realize it. I encourage you to take a trip out to the library closest to you and see what they have to offer. I'm Alexandria for Southeast High School and SETV.
Last year, I had the pleasure of speaking to the girls basketball team and their amazing head coach after getting his 800th win. Today, I'm joined once again by Coach Harder and two more superior athletes. First, we have Coach Harder. He's been teaching and coaching girls basketball at Southeast for 35 years. Last year, he reached the milestone of 800 wins and is retiring at the end of the year. Next, we have Charmaine Murray, who is a junior this year. This is her third year on varsity, and she looks forward to playing college basketball at UCF in the future. Last but not least, we have Kayla McDuffie. She's a sophomore, and it is her second year on varsity. Kayla loves playing basketball and is excited about the future of the team. Hello and welcome to The Right Direction.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to see you again, Robert.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thank you guys for coming out. So you guys have been playing basketball for some time, and I've heard that no game is ever the same. What changes about each game? How are they never the same?
Well, each game we push each other to go harder. Like when we're playing a hard team, we lift each other up and motivate each other to keep going.
Right.
Yep.
And so teamwork and getting each other going, that's really important. So how do you guys keep this chemistry and this teamwork together? How do you keep this team alive?
We bond outside of basketball.
Cheer each other on, basically.
Cheer each other on and
Yes.
bonding outside. So what do you guys do outside of basketball?
Like go to the movies, go out to eat.
Do you have a favorite time that you guys bonded together?
No.
No. All right, that's okay. So last year, Coach Harder got his 800th win. This season is also his last season. So is there any pressure on you guys on the court or even on you, Coach Harder?
I try to keep all the pressure from them and on me if needed. But it's obviously bittersweet. I'm at times not ready to leave by any stretch of the imagination, and I don't want them to always think this is the last of this, the last of that, the last Christmas party is this Saturday. The Willie Clemens, 15 years. It'll be hard for me to walk away, but their whole future is ahead of them, and they must keep that balance. And it's not easy, but they've responded well. They've won 8 wins in a row, and they look to successfully complete the season. So that's really what's important, is that they're happy.
Right. I agree completely. So obviously your guys' futures are ahead of you, and you both look to keep basketball in your futures. What does basketball mean to each of you?
Well, it means a lot to me. Like it helps me get through hard times, and it keeps me up.
What about you, Coach Harder?
Yeah, I am 45 years. Basketball is everything. I feel that I was a teacher on the court. I enjoyed the classroom as much as I did the gym and call it a classroom. So for me, I'm humbled, and I've always said it's just the grace of God that I've had the health and the joy of something I love so much. And young people like these two make it easy. We were here a year ago with the captains, Amani and Daisha, and as I walked with these two down the hall, I said, someone has to replace them. You two are next. It's been that kind of a thing at Southeast since I got here. I've always been able to build a program that I could let go and know that it was going to be successful. So I'm grateful, very, very humbled.
Right. What about you, Charmaine? What does basketball mean to you?
Basketball means everything to me. I just love playing basketball. That's it.
So it's definitely more than just a game.
Yes.
And you mentioned when you guys came last season. Has anything changed on the girls basketball team since last season?
Yes, a lot have changed on the season. A lot changed.
Good things, hopefully.
Yes, good things.
Do you want to talk about them a little bit?
We have better chemistry, better, like, everything. Like, everything's better. Like, I just don't know. It is better. this year. It's just better.
We lost the JV program for the first time in 35 years, and that hurts because I worry about the depth. It's a feeder system. Every school needs a feeder system. But if that's the sad news, Brian Alexander has come on stronger as a varsity assistant, more than ready to take over. He brings to their practices more of the chemistry that was needed to bind them. I think he's not only doing an excellent job, but the kids have bought into what we're trying to do without a JV team, make this year successful. Kayla's in 10th grade. At any one time we start 3 sophomores. Much of the court has 4 sophomores on it at one time. So with Jalen, our only freshman, I think for the next couple of years, we'll build on the success of this chemistry through Charmaine, Amani, Daisha, the older ones, Aubrey, and then it'll take care of itself. That's our hope. But it starts with sisterhood and team, and this year's team has that. And that's why they're 8-1 instead of 5-4.
Mm-hmm.
You agree?
Yes.
Because you're the youngin'. It's on you, Kayla.
So it sounded like this varsity team. It's a very young team.
Mm-hmm.
How are you guys battling with that? Is that I'm sure it has its ups and its downs.
We're still learning, so like the older ones push us, help us on the court and stuff like that.
So as an upperclassman, do you have any goals or any influences you want to have on those that will be carrying on when you move on?
Just continue to work hard and push and just play your game. And that's it.
So knowing that's her influence and the idea that she wants to leave on the team, how does it feel being one of these younger players? Are you feeling like you kind of have your path made, or?
Yeah, I feel like I know where I want to go, where I want to be, or who I want to be when I grow up.
And the Southeast basketball program has all those things you need to?
Yes.
Perfect. That's always what we like to hear. So we hear how it's going to affect you. Can you go into that a little bit more? Like, what is the impact of basketball on you?
How's your grades?
Well, I have A's and B's.
So it's not much of a distraction.
Basketball makes me want to do better in school. Like, when I get a bad grade on my test, I beat myself down about it because I want to play basketball and stuff like that.
So it's not a distraction at all?
No.
How do you keep it from being a distraction, Coach?
Well, it's time consuming, and I appreciate anybody who works on SCTV, ROTC, Art Club. For goodness sakes, our school functions better with the extracurricular, and I try to stress to my girls to balance that out. They practice every Saturday, for goodness sakes. They're out late at night, and yet I have to check on their grades weekly. And with the semester rolling up here this week, it's always a little nerve-wracking to me to make sure everybody stays eligible, because I require a lot of their time throughout the school year. We go all 4 seasons. We go to summer camps. We play in the spring open gym. We go to a fall ball league. So I know these girls, and I train these girls to balance their life as if they were my own children. And I would want their grades and the way they eat their meals and the way they associate with friends and church and whatever I can do to build a family out of it. And it's worked for 35 years, and I don't see why it'll stop with these two. They understand the importance of academics and balancing what we need here at Southeast to be successful.
Of course. Well, it sounds like your season is packed with school and all of the events that you guys seem to do. What does your off season look like?
Well, my off season, I work on my weaknesses in basketball, and yeah, I just go to the gym to work on my stuff.
Get in that practice time?
Yes.
Would you agree that basketball is turning into a year-round sport?
Yes.
How many camps did you go to this year? At least 3.
Yeah, at least
plus the summer league.
Yeah.
These were all off season?
Yes.
Off season, yeah.
So how many events do you guys go to during the season?
We have 25 games. We're in 2 tournaments before we get to districts. And it stretches from late October through early March. It's it's a full schedule.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So for
No
those of
boys.
us who are at home and would like to join the girls basketball team, how could they go about that?
Good question. I'll answer that one. We want to have open gyms. We want to have open tryouts. We want to have summer camps. And my phone number's been the same for 35 years. And I'm training Brian Alexander to be that same open type involved coach that I've been. That's what this program needs. So by the time we roll around in November, we know who's on the varsity. We've got our team pretty well picked. Unless a tall Russian comes in as she did last year, I mean, I'll always have an opportunity for a very tall basketball player. You can't teach height. But I do want to stress that they should get involved as early as possible, knowing me and knowing the girls, coming to games, finding out in the community. There's a new district being aligned. You might have read about it last week for football. Since I see the football helmet instead of a basketball, it makes me think that we're a well-rounded school in athletics. And so there's an AD and there's a principal who loves to come to our gym, and people know of me and of the program, and finding out in the summer is a big plus to get ready for the winter.
Right. Well, thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully those at home will get involved, and it sounds like you guys have a plan for the future. Can't wait to see how it all comes together.
Thank you, Robert. Thanks for having us.
Oh, no problem. Thank you guys for coming again. Well, that sounds like the final buzzer for this segment, but don't head to those locker rooms quite yet. We have so much more that you won't want to miss coming up right after this very important public service announcement.
That's all the time we have for today, and we want to thank you for watching.
We want to thank the boys and girls basketball team for joining us today.
We hope that you have enjoyed the program just as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you.
And we hope that you will join us next month when we'll be showing you what's happening in and around Southeast High School.
If you would like to find out how to choice the Southeast and becoming a part of the SETV program,
or if you would like to become a business partner of SETV, simply visit our website at setv.news and drop our director an email.
Our website has links to our latest broadcasts on YouTube and updates about our program. I'm Jackson.
And I'm Robert.
And from our family to yours, we want to take a moment to wish you all a happy holiday and a happy new year.
And remember that when you set your compass to Southeast, you're headed in
the right direction.